Handwritten notes play a really very important role, especially in the competitive exam where we have extensive syllabus as well as ample of questions from current affairs. And if I say RBI Grade B examination fall in the same category where we have ample of syllabus for ESI, finance, management, along with that quant, reasoning, English and current affairs. Along with that, not only in phase 1 but also in phase 2 and even in your interview section, current affairs is going to play a really very important role. So that if you want to recall, if you want to retain the data of current affairs, the facts related to current affairs and number of news which are included in current affairs to answer your majority questions in the examination, then handwritten notes are going to be really very important. Now most of you must be wondering कि सर 2 महीने बाद हम expect कर सकते हैं कि examination हो, maybe in September फर्स्ट वीक में एग्जामिनेशन हो, तो लगभग 2 से 2.5 महीने हमारे पास हैं टू राइट द फेज 1 एग्जामिनेशन. डू यू थिंक सर इट इज द राइट टाइम टू स्टार्ट मेकिंग द हैंड रिटन नोट्स? अगर हमने अभी तक नहीं बनाए देन आई वुड से यस. व्हाई आई एम सेइंग यस? द रीजन इज this is the right time when you will be start revising your previous month current affairs. For example, you are revising the month current affairs of March month or April month or maybe the month of May. While doing the revision from the previously included PDFs, now rather than revising the content only and only from the PDF, start making the handwritten notes side by side, which will help you to revise the entire content at the last minute just before the examination. So that is the reason I say this is the right time to start making the handwritten notes, which will help you to retain the data better. It will help you to hold that data and facts more appropriately just before the examination, and even the handwritten notes will be a good source of revision just before the examination. एक बार imagine करो, एग्जाम में बैठने से पहले आज आप बैठे हैं और कल आपका एग्जामिनेशन है. Is it possible to revise 200 PDF just going before the examination? No. लेकिन अगर वही 200 PDF का निचोड़ समरी अगर आपके पास 50 to 60 पेजेस के फॉर्मेट में होगा, that will be much easier to remember, that will be much easier to revise, and undoubtedly it's going to boost your confidence. So let's get started. First of all, we all know that current affairs is a very important aspect of RBI Grade B examination, and so is the handwritten notes. The significance, as I already discussed, why it is important, why it is the right time to start making the handwritten notes right now. Now the question is why you should make the handwritten notes now, not the first time when you are reading the current affairs. उसका पीछे एक लॉजिक है. लॉजिक क्या कि अगर आज आप एक कोई करंट अफेयर्स को पहली बार पढ़ रहे हैं and in the first reading you are trying to understand that particular news, especially if I talk about the finance current affairs, you are trying to understand the news, you are not very much acquainted with the with the particular news. So in the first reading or in the first time covering a particular news, you are trying to understand it. Once you have understood it, then the second time when you will be revising it, when you are revising your current affairs, at that particular moment you have much good concept clarity, and that is the right time to make the handwritten notes. Because if you are making the handwritten notes in the first reading itself, in the first time covering the topic itself, तब आपको यही नहीं पता होगा क्या लिखूं क्या ना लिखूं, क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है क्या इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. लेकिन the moment you have covered a news once, और उसके 1-2 महीने के बाद when you come back to the same news, you get to know कि हाँ यार पिछले 2 महीने में इस न्यूज से रिलेटेड ये चीजें पढ़ी हैं और इस पूरी न्यूज से ये 2-4 पॉइंट्स है जो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, बाकी पॉइंट्स वी कैन इजीली इग्नोर. तो ये जो सेंस ऑफ मैच्योरिटी है, that doesn't come when you read the news for the very first time. It comes with time when you read more news related to the same topic which I am discussing over here. In that particular scenario, it will give you a more maturity, and that mature thinking, mature understanding will be reflected on the paper, and that is known as best or good handwritten notes for your examination. So it will help you to retain the data in a better manner while revising it, because it's scientifically proven concept. Whenever you write something, especially while revising, it retains better in your brain. Second is it gives you a personalized understanding, because now you're making your notes as per your will. जैसा सर ने पढ़ाया, जैसा मैंने पढ़ाया, आपने उस फ्लो में नोट्स को नहीं लिखा. Now you're writing down the handwritten notes in your flow, the way you understand that news, the way you want to carry forward with that particular news. Next is it will help you in last minute revision for sure just before the examination, and it will avoid, or it will help you avoiding the overloaded information which is provided in day-to-day PDFs and day-to-day sessions. Now, the next point is what all sources you are covering. I'm pretty sure you are covering the PIB session by none other than Manish sir on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you are covering the finance current affairs by me on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 5 p.m. So these are the most important sources of current affairs for you. Along with that, sir has already conducted economic survey and union budget session on our YouTube channel itself, and even I have discussed the MCQs based on the same. You can go and watch them. In case of newspaper, if you're following the newspaper like Indian Express and Financial Express or Economic Times, and you are going through with only and only the articles or the editorial section, as I have already discussed in my previous video on newspapers importance for RBI Grade B examination, then while going through with the articles, while going through with the editorials, if you're writing down the summary, that is also really very important, which will help you to understand the concept in a better manner. Is it clear? Now, let's move on to the last point. The last point is your monthly current affairs magazine. So these current affair magazines, are available on our platform, that is on Testbook application, where we are providing you with monthly current affairs not only for finance but also for PIB as well as for the general current affairs. You can follow them as well. Just a piece of revision, but your major piece of revision is going to be your handwritten notes, which you are going to write, which you are going to make while going through with the news for the second time, while revising the news for the second time. Moving on to the next, what do you need to note down? That is more important. Handwritten notes, सब बोलते हैं कि handwritten notes बना लो, लेकिन कोई ये नहीं बताता कि उसमें लिखना क्या है. So if I tell you what you need to write is, in this case you need to write down the government schemes. If I talk about in case of a government scheme, you need to write down the name of the government scheme. You need to write down the launch year in which the scheme was launched. You need to write down the nodal ministry as well as the department which is implementing the scheme. Then you need to write down the objective and features of the scheme. And if the scheme is an older one, then you must note down the current result of the given scheme. If I talk about the next important segment, that is RBI circular, you must know the year, month on which the circular was introduced. Then you must know the objective of the circular. You must know the key provisions of the circular, and you must know the applicability, that this circular is applicable on which all banks. In case of reports and indices, you must know that it is released by which organization. You must know the important rankings as well as key findings. Whenever you go through with a report or index, which is a global report or global index, in that particular case, global overview data or the overview of the global data is important. Then from that particular news, India related data is obviously most important segment. And the last part is you can note down the data related to South Asia. You can note down the data related to South Asia, because after India, the second priority will be given to the global data, and third priority in the examination will be given to the data regarding your neighbors, that is the South Asian nations. Then in case of committees, you must note down the important recommendations given by the committees, and do note down the important facts as well as figures, which I call it as data bank. I hope many of you are following and making the data bank. I have seen many of the students who have shared their data bank with me. They are making it in a very appropriate manner. If you don't know, then I would just like to inform you that whenever you come across with a particular data regarding a particular news, you should note down that particular data on a separate A4 size sheet and try to segregate the data in different segments. For example, data related to GDP, data related to social issues, that is health, education and whatnot. Then data related to the financial sector, penalty charge or any kind of new initiative which has been taken, priority sector lending revision, all that part. And last is the data related to reports, indices as well as schemes. So if you are noting down the data in this manner, it will help you to recall the data in a better manner, and it will help you to identify the data while writing or while answering the question based on facts and data. Last is what should be the ideal format to make the notes. Obviously, you must मेक द नोट्स इन इंडेक्स फॉर्म। इंडेक्स फॉर्म का मतलब क्या हुआ कि मान लो अगर आप किसी गवर्नमेंट स्कीम के बारे में नोट्स बना रहे हैं, सो दिस शुड बी योर फॉर्मेट while making the government note, while making the handwritten notes. Write down the name of the ministry, write down the year in which this particular scheme has been launched, write down its objective, write down the result if it is already existing scheme, and do write down the budget outlay or the funds outlay which has been given by the government on the given scheme. Then do write down or highlight the keywords, underline the keywords which you have noted down in your handwritten notes. Use the headings and subheadings the way I have used it for you. Please try to make the flowchart if it is possible. Generally, I make the flowcharts while discussing the RBI circulars with you, while discussing the RBI related notifications with you. So that kind of circular, for example, we have covered a circular on KYC. So I've made that entire flowchart related to KYC as well as the steps which are followed related to KYC. So that flowchart is really very important, and when you will design that flowchart for yourself on your own, it will be a plus while writing the descriptive answer as well. Don't forget to leave certain margins for updates, because once you have noted down a particular news, the updates for that particular news will be visible or will be witnessed in the upcoming days to go. So you must have the space so that you can update your notes as required. In case of note making, you should divide your notes in different segments. Different notes for economy, social issues, banking and finance, RBI website, government schemes, report and indices, and different notes for the general current affairs. Different notes का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप A4 size sheets पे बना रहे हैं, you must have a different bundle for economy, different bundle for social issues, different bundle for banking and finance. इससे क्या होगा? It will be easier for you to retain the data, to identify the data, as well as to recall the data whenever required. Last is you need to revise. You need to revise the previous week, previous month news before you start moving to the next week news. For example, today it's Sunday, and Sunday you have planned to revise March month current affairs. While revising the March month current affairs, you are making the handwritten notes. But before you go to bed, do revise the current affairs of the previous week, because from Monday onwards you will be getting the new videos for the new week, and before you get the new video, before you get the new news, you must have covered the previous week news. I hope you know that science of revision. You must revise whatever you have studied in 24 hours. You must revise whatever you have studied in 7 days. You must revise whatever you have studied in 28 days. It is scientifically proven, if you revise your studied content in this manner, you will be able to recall the content for longer period, and you will be able to answer the questions in the examination. Stay consistent while making these notes. Keep the notes pretty concise and revise them regularly. Don't copy and paste the data from the PDF without understanding. That's not going to help you. Don't get into over decorating it. मैंने देखा लोग कभी कोई कलर के पेन से या कभी कुछ ही किसी और पेन के साथ ड्राइंग कर रहे हैं, लिख रहे हैं, उससे कोई फायदा नहीं होगा. Notes means it should be concise form of the PDF which we have provided to you, so that you can revise through them pretty easily. Last but not the least is, you should not delay the compilation. If you are revising your March month today, you should complete your handwritten notes today itself. Do not delay. ऐसा नहीं कि पहले रिवाइज कर लेता हूँ फिर नोट्स बना लूंगा, तो फिर कभी नोट्स बना ही नहीं पाओगे. Trust me. So do whatever you want to right away. Don't put the things for future. Remember that. The last but not the least is, in every examination, revision plays a really very important role, because it will help you to recall the facts. It will easy to track what do you know, what you don't know, and it will always boost your confidence before the examination. Especially you need this confidence booster before your phase 2 exam, and that is the reason these handwritten notes are going to help you much more, not only in phase 1 but also in phase 2. Even they will help you in the last section, that is your phase 3 interview examination as well. As I already said, एक एग्जाम्पल मैंने दे दी. मान लो एक प्रधानमंत्री जनधन योजना पे ऊपर आप नोट्स बना रहे हैं. डू राइट इट. लॉन्च्ड इन 2014. फाइनेंस, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. ऑब्जेक्टिव, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. की फीचर्स, जीरो बैलेंस रुपे कार्ड. एंड as it is an older news, you must have the number of accounts which have been opened under Jandan accounts or Jandan Yojana by 2025. This is something which is more than sufficient to answer most of the phase 1 questions, most of the phase 2 objective questions. So this handwritten notes will help you majorly in objective section, as well as it will help you to retain the data and facts, and these data and facts can be utilized while writing the descriptive answer to add more assurance to your answer itself. So remember that handwritten notes means it's a smart strategy. Stay updated, stay consistent, and make current affairs your strength rather than losing it in a scenario that I won't be able to clear the examination because of current affairs. No, you should think that it is only because of current affairs I will be able to clear this exam, I will be able to crack this examination. If you want to ask any other doubt regarding your preparation, you can join with me on my Telegram channel. Scan this QR code, or my handle is @Madhav Arora. You can ask your doubts directly in the group itself, or even you can send me a direct message. I will be taking all your doubts so that I can help you to the fullest to clear the upcoming RBI Grade B examination. Good luck. God bless you.